Introduction. In the ever-evolving landscape of global politics, a new alignment of powers has emerged, referred to as the Axis of Upheaval. This term describes the deepening cooperation between Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea, a coalition that seeks to challenge Western dominance and reshape international relations. Their collaboration spans economic, military, and diplomatic spheres, influencing the global balance of power. Recent developments have further cemented their ties, signaling a shift in the geopolitical order. Understanding the Axis of Upheaval. The term Axis of Upheaval was coined in 2024 by analysts Richard Fontaine and Andrea Kendall-Taylor, highlighting the increasing coordination among these four nations. Unlike past alliances based on ideology, this coalition is driven by mutual interests in countering the influence of the United States and its allies. While each country has unique geopolitical goals, their shared opposition to Western intervention unites them. 1. Russia seeks to expand its sphere of influence, especially in Ukraine and former Soviet territories. 2. China aims to solidify its dominance in global trade, military, and technology, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region. 3. Iran continues to assert itself in the Middle East, using proxy groups and strategic partnerships to counter US and Israeli influence. 4. North Korea relies on support from China and Russia to resist international sanctions and strengthen its military capabilities. This alignment is not merely a loose cooperation, but a calculated effort to create a counterbalance to Western alliances like NATO and the G7. Recent developments. Strengthening the alliance. 1. China and Russia's deepening ties. China and Russia have intensified their cooperation in multiple domains. Following Western sanctions on Moscow after its invasion of Ukraine, Beijing emerged as a crucial economic lifeline for Russia. In 2024, trade between the two nations reached a historic high, surpassing $200 billion. Additionally, both countries conducted joint military exercises in the Pacific, reinforcing their strategic partnership. China's recent diplomatic stance on Taiwan has also found a supportive voice in Russia, with Moscow publicly backing Beijing's claims and warning against Western interference. This growing alignment suggests that both nations view their partnership as essential for resisting Western pressure. 2. Iran's expanding role in the Middle East. Iran has capitalized on the shifting geopolitical landscape by strengthening its military and economic ties with Russia and China. In July 2024, the Beijing Declaration facilitated a unity agreement between Palestinian factions, orchestrated by China and backed by Iran. This move positioned Beijing as a key player in Middle Eastern diplomacy, while Iran leveraged its ties with Hamas and Hezbollah to extend its influence. Furthermore, Iran has supplied drones and military technology to Russia, aiding its operations in Ukraine. The deepening military cooperation between Moscow and Tehran has raised concerns in Western intelligence circles, especially as Iran continues to defy international sanctions. 3. North Korea's military advancements and strategic cooperation. North Korea remains a wild card in this coalition, frequently testing missiles and increasing tensions in East Asia. In early 2024, Pyongyang conducted its largest ever ICBM test, prompting condemnations from the US and its allies. However, rather than facing isolation, North Korea has received increased backing from Russia and China. Recent reports indicate that North Korea has been supplying Russia with artillery shells and munitions for its war in Ukraine. In return, Moscow has provided Pyongyang with energy supplies and advanced military technology. This mutually beneficial exchange strengthens both nations and solidifies their place within the Axis of Upheaval, the economic and technological counterweight to the West. Beyond military cooperation, the Axis of Upheaval is fostering economic and technological alliances to counteract Western economic pressures. Thus, de-dollarization efforts. Russia, China, and Iran are actively working to reduce their reliance on the US dollar in global trade. China has increased its use of the yuan in international transactions, while Russia has turned to alternative financial systems like the MIR payment system to bypass Western sanctions. Energy cooperation. Iran and Russia have strengthened their oil and gas cooperation, with Moscow investing in Iranian energy infrastructure. Meanwhile, China continues to import significant volumes of Russian oil despite Western attempts to cap prices. Technological partnerships. China and Russia have increased collaboration in AI, space technology, and cybersecurity. Iran has also been developing its cyber warfare capabilities, allegedly engaging in cyber attacks against Western infrastructure. These initiatives indicate that the Axis of Upheaval is not just a temporary political alignment, but a long-term strategy to reshape global economic and technological power dynamics. Challenges and Western countermeasures. The emergence of the Axis of Upheaval has prompted responses from the US and its allies. NATO has expanded its focus beyond Europe, strengthening its presence in the Indo-Pacific by engaging with countries like Japan and South Korea. Additionally, the G7 has increased economic sanctions on Russia and Iran, while the US has imposed tighter restrictions on China's access to advanced semiconductor technology. However, these measures face significant obstacles. Sanctions have not crippled Russia's war efforts, and China's economy remains resilient despite Western pressure. Meanwhile, Iran and North Korea continue to develop their military capabilities with external support. Conclusion. The formation of the Axis of Upheaval marks a pivotal shift in global geopolitics. Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are no longer operating in isolation. They are actively collaborating to challenge Western dominance. This alliance, rooted in mutual interests rather than ideology, presents new complexities for international relations. While the West scrambles to counteract this emerging power bloc, the world moves toward an increasingly multipolar system. Whether this new order will lead to greater stability or deeper global conflicts remains to be seen. One thing is clear: the Axis of Upheaval is a force that cannot be ignored.